It's R&B and Throwbacks, B103. I'm Bionce Foxx, the Bionce Foxx Experience, and what an experience this is. The homeboy is back in town.
Yes.
Hey, Common.
Peace, what's up, Beyonce?
Yes, I am well, thank you.
Yes.
And Mr. Pete Rock.
Hello there.
Legendary producer.
Yes.
Old school.
Nice to meet you.
Man, nice to meet you too, sir. What a pleasure it is to have you fellas here on the show today. Let's get right to it.
Yeah.
The Auditorium, Volume 1.
Yes.
So does that, first of all, does that mean it's going to be a Volume 2?
Of course.
And a Volume 3?
You know, everyone asks that.
And a Volume 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
want to tell y'all we found ourselves in music again. So
Yes.
Volume 1 means more is coming.
Okay,
Yes.
that'll work. And now, Pete, you produced this entire album?
Yes.
Okay, and you got a little feature on there too, right?
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
So, for those who may not know, Pete Rock, legendary Grammy award-winning producer. You've worked with the likes of Heavy D
Yes.
and Kid and Play, Dougie
Yes.
Fresh.
Yes.
The list goes on and
Yes.
on,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
how did you guys come together to do the Auditorium?
Well, we've been friends. We've known each other since the 90s,
Yeah.
early 90s.
Yep.
And I always had just a love for Pete Rock's music. He created some of the greatest songs of all time. Not just only hip-hop songs, like They Reminisce Over You is like Straighten It Out, like
Yes.
Shut 'Em Down, Public Enemy, their remix and just Jump Around remix. Just the list goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I always wanted to work with him, and we worked together on like specific songs, but never a whole project. And I was in the space of really wanting to just do some hip hop music and do some music that I love, not thinking about like what's going on right now as far as in music.
Right.
Just like, man, create from a space that's for me that like, man, this is what I want to hear out there. And when I went and connected with Pete, it was just like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is the music that's elevating me. I don't have to think. I just can create, and it's got the soul that's timeless. Like the thing about Pete Rock's music is not old school. It's timeless. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
It's that. So for me, I was like, man, I want to create music that potentially will be here forever. For as long as it's a planet, they'll listen to Pete Rock and Common
There
music.
you go.
Come on, I've been following you, bro, for years and years and years.
Yes.
You even named one of your albums after me. His B
Me.
album was actually named after me, right?
Yes.
So,
let 'em
no, I'm playing.
know. Let them know.
CB is the coupe de grace.
Yes, hey.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, hip hop is in your DNA.
Yes.
Like, we know you're you're actor,
Yes.
you're an author, Emmys, Grammys. You are the man. But that hip hop, sir,
Yes.
it is in your DNA. You have this amazing skill of being able to just spit off the dome. Like, nobody can do that. Like, Common, you're just
you.
so amazing. So, what's the process when you guys are creating music? What's the process?
For me, it's pretty easy, but like he makes it easier because of his talents.
Yes.
So with that combined, everything happens so fast. You know what I'm saying? And it's just good things happening, and we just prepare ourselves. And sometimes, I'll inspire him and send him music like, hey, what do you think about this record? Or like getting the ideas flowing. And after that, it's just once we get locked in, everything just.
Yeah. And when Pete sends me records, that's already inspiring because it's like this potentially could be a beat that could be incredible.
Yeah.
Because he only sending me really fresh records. I'm like, that's the point. Like, and it's just like, well, okay, which one do I gravitate to most? But then sometimes when he's sending me beats, I feel like that kid that got to go back to the playground again and like really just be himself and be free and not think about like what people thinking. It's like for me, as you said, Beyonce, it's like hip hop is my first love artistically, and it's like this album I'm getting to remember who I am. Sometimes you gotta recalibrate.
Oh yes,
and,
absolutely.
and go back. And this album was like me recalibrating, and as Pete just said, we kind of reinvented in many ways because I've been out there as an actor, been out there doing activist work,
Yes.
and that's part of me. But as a musician, I haven't been out there strong. Like, I put out music, but it ain't been received like this. And it hasn't even been created like this because of the time that Pete and I had and who Pete Rock is. So
I had to remember who I was too.
Okay.
We were both on a little journey.
Yeah, you had to remember how multi-talented you brothers are, right? Okay. Yeah, I get it. Let's talk about the title, the Auditorium. Significance there with an auditorium or a venue in Brooklyn. Talk about that.
Well, the title, the Auditorium, wasn't specific to one auditorium, but it really came from the thought of, man, a lot of performances that I've experienced. My first performances, me breakdancing in my grammar school, was in the auditorium. My first play was in the auditorium, and I've witnessed some of the best experiences, theater and music, in the auditorium. So I felt like, man, Pete, I was like, Pete, man, we could do this. Like, the auditorium will eventually be the place that people come to experience our music and what we're doing. So it's just
great title.
Okay, yeah, I love that title. I'm always intrigued by titles, not only titles of albums, but actually titles of some of the songs. And Common, I gotta know what Chi-Town Do It is all about. That's one of the tracks. Now, when I saw Chi-Town, I rose up.
Yes.
Come on, let's talk about the song.
Tell me.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, the original story is Pete made this beat, and he had like a sample of Biz Markie saying, "Brooklyn, do it." And I said, Pete, I'm from Chicago, man. I can't do Brooklyn, do it. Come on, B. You know I can't do that. I gotta represent where I'm from. And he said, he came with the idea right then and there. He's like, okay, I'll take the Brooklyn out, and then we'll sample Ye saying Chi-Town. We go Chi-Town. And then so
quick
this
turnaround.
Yeah, he rocked that joint, and this song is like really, it's like in some ways a love letter to Chicago, but I'm talking to a girl, but I'm just like giving my Chicago swagger. It's just, like I say, she knew me from the city. She knew I was witty. She knew I had power and maybe some sense like Fitty. She had a couple of cats I was trying to get the kitty. And if I touch down, I just might do the gritty. This just in, I've been on my Jeffersons, bussin' raps. Rappers, she said she didn't trust them. And really didn't trust men. I guess we on the cusp then. Go get your Moscow and we don't have to rush in.
Oh my God.
That lyric laid me down.
Another one that got my attention since we talking about her. Let's go with God featuring the great Jennifer Hudson.
Chicago's own. Like, that's like,
yes.
One of the legendary artists of, who comes from Chicago. And not just the artist, I mean, we watched her win an Oscar in her first movie. So it's just like she set a tone of just soulfulness, of being a woman of integrity and just creativity. And we grateful. Of course, I'm grateful to have her on the album, but Pete really loves what she did on the album, on the song "The God There Is."
Yes, sir. Now, Pete Rock, you're featured too. All kinds of ideas.
Yes, it was a request from Common. He asked, and I was like waiting for him to ask. I was surprised when he did ask. I was like, yes. So I did a verse. He likes when I rhyme and stuff. So I did a verse on there.
Of course. Now, guys, just briefly here. What do you think about the state of hip-hop now? We're seeing all this commercialism on social media, the going back and forth, the beefs, the whatever. But I can assure you, and you too, Pete, that you guys aren't making music necessarily to keep up with what's happening now. You're doing classic hip-hop that can be heard 18 years from now and still sound the same and have the same impact.
The one helpful thing I kind of liked with what's happening in hip-hop now was really actually the Drake and Kendrick battle kind of woke up the game.
Indeed.
And that's where we came in, swooped in, and say, okay, thank you, Kendrick, thank you, Drake. Now here we come with some new music that everyone can kind of learn from young to old, and it's inspiring. You could do anything playing this album,
Yeah, I was just, one of the brothers who works here, Ryan, as I was walking down the hallway, we were talking, he was like, man, I really dig the music y'all doing. It's like we need that. Like, we need music that like can feed our souls and we can enjoy, and it's fun. And the reason I bring him up is because he's in his 20s, and I was like,
Yeah, 30. Just turned 30.
30, okay,
Yeah.
just turned 30.
That's my dude.
You
Yeah.
know, he looked 20 to me. But that being said, it's like the one thing I'm feeling about the music we putting out in the state of hip hop now with the music we're doing is like, I believe that like soulful and just pure music can touch any age group. Like I love that my friends are like really invigorated by the album, but then to hear them tell me, man, my son really liked the album too. Like I think them getting introduced to that, and the younger generation are now open to like this hip hop that has some of this consciousness or just upliftment and just good energy. And as Pete said, man, you know, with Kendrick and Drake battling, it really made people pay attention to lyrics, and that's my home.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then Pete got the beats for me to deliver that. So it's like, anyway, it's a great time. We appreciate this time. We thankful to God for this moment.
Absolutely.
Yes,
and before I let you fellas go, Common, you're going to be performing tomorrow in Grant Park. Millennium Park is celebrating their 20th anniversary. I can't believe it's been there for 20 years. But, you know, we get visitors from all over the world to Millennium Park to see the Big Bean.
Yes.
And you're going to be performing with the Grant Park Orchestra.
Yeah, yes.
Come
I think
on,
I'm going to stay
man.
next year.
Come on, Pete. Yo, listen.
Yeah, you need to stay,
You
Pete.
need to stay.
Yeah,
Pete.
you
It's
need
like,
to stay.
Yo, I'm so excited for the performance tomorrow because I'm performing with the Grant Park Orchestra.
Yes.
You could have never told the kid that put out his first album, Can I Borrow a Dollar, that I would be performing at Grant Park with an orchestra in Chicago to celebrate Millennium Park's 20th year anniversary, and I'm gonna have some guest artists, guest surprises. You know, like people will be very, very excited for some of the guests that I'll be bringing.
Yes.
Pete need to stay too, but that being said, it's like we will be performing some of the, obviously a lot of the classic songs, but then we'll do some of the new stuff too.
Okay.